right. Happy Friday. Happy Juneteenth. Welcome, welcome. As you all join in, please share your name, where you're from, and your career in the chat box. This is great so I can get to know you, and also I can confirm that you can hear me and see the screen. All right, welcome. I see you all coming on in. Happy Friday. Happy Juneteenth. As you join, please share your name, where you're from, and your career in the chat box. We'll get started probably a few minutes after 10, just to give people some time. 10 a.m. Pacific time, depending upon where you are, maybe a different time. So we'll start a few minutes after the hour, just to give everyone a chance to ease in. Okay, cool. I see a few of you have called in, so that's fine. I will, if you can, I would recommend being in front of a computer if possible, just because there are some images that will help you better understand the money horoscope for Geminis. But if that's not possible right now, totally fine. The recording will be posted on YouTube, and I'll share that link afterwards. So no worries if you can't be in front of your computer, but if you can, that will make the experience even richer. I am going to turn off my phone. All right, I'll give everyone just a couple more minutes to sign in, ease in. As you join, please share your name, where you're from, and your career in the chat box. Seems like people are shy today, and some of you I see are on your phone, so you may not be able to type it in. But if you are able to, please type it in. That way I know that you can hear me and you can see the screen. All right, welcome. Happy Friday to those of you just now joining. Happy Juneteenth. We'll get started here in just a couple minutes. Go ahead and type your name, where you're from, and your career in the chat box so we can all get to know each other. And also that lets me know that you can hear me. So if I don't see anything in the chat box, I'm going to assume that no one can hear me, which would be a bummer since you're here to learn about money horoscopes. Okay, happy Friday. Can someone please type in the chat box if you can hear me? Just say yes. I know everyone seems to be shy today about sharing their name, but if you can just type yes in the box, the chat box, let me know that you can hear me. That would be fantastic. Great, fantastic. Thank you, Monica. Thank you. Is it knock? Knock, could you let me know the phonetic pronunciation of your name? Perfect. Welcome. All right. Well, we're a few minutes after the hour, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm really excited to dive into this new series that we have for Money and Mimosas, which is all about money horoscopes. Today is going to be dedicated to Geminis. Today is the final day of the Gemini season. My sister is actually born on June 20th, so she's on the cusp of Gemini and Cancer, and her sun sign is still Gemini even on June 20th. So needless to say, we are wrapping up Gemini season and we are launching the Money Horoscope series with Geminis. You all are an amazing bunch, and if you've got Geminis in your life, be sure to share this information that you'll learn today with them. Before I jump into the material, can someone please let me know that they can see this screen, Money Horoscope series? Just hit yes, type yes in the chat box. The reason I asked is because a few weeks ago, we had issues with people seeing the screen. So just confirm that you can see that for me. Perfect. Thank you, Stacy. Thank you, Yasmin. Welcome, welcome. All right, so we're gonna hop in now that I've confirmed that you all can see this. Happy Friday, happy Juneteenth. Excited to dive into what the stars and the planets have to say about your prosperity path. And as I mentioned, and I'm sure the reason why you signed up, it's for Geminis today. So either you are a Gemini, your sun sign is a Gemini, or you've got someone special in your life that is a Gemini. And understanding their relationship with money will only deepen the relationship that the two of you have together. So during this series, today we'll start off, this week will be about Geminis. We're going to go over your birth chart. For some of you, this may be completely new information around the fact that you may not have seen a birth chart before. You may not know about all of the fact that all planets, all signs are in our birth chart. So even though your sun sign is a Gemini, all the planets and all of the other signs do play a role in creating who you are. So we're going to go through what that looks like and look at a sample birth chart. From that information, I'll go through what is your innate currency. So every human being and every sign that's associated with that human being, every sun sign, has and indicates what your innate skills are, what gifts you bring to the world. I also like to say that this is the medicine that you bring to the world. I believe everyone has a purpose here on this planet, and a big part of our purpose is to heal the world, people, planets, animals, people, planet, and the animals. So you have an innate currency that you were born with, and that is your ticket to prosperity and inner peace as well. And then we'll go through the 3 elements that inform your prosperity path. There are a lot of elements that inform your prosperity path. If I went through all of them, that would be several hours of a webinar and also a full-on book. So we're going to focus on 3 elements of your prosperity path so that you can get a better sense of how to be in alignment with your soul's purpose. For those that are new to my free Financial Friday webinars, welcome. If you're not familiar with my work, my name is Danetha. I am a money mystic and an economist. So I definitely delve into the practical, tactical sides of personal finance, and I've been studying economic systems for a really long time, since I was 16. And I'm also a mystic. So I do believe in magic. I do believe in the stars, astrology. I do believe in elements that are at times beyond human consciousness and at times may not make quote unquote sense in the personal finance world, but they definitely inform our personal finances. So I do both. I am both. And I'm the creator of Money Mimosas. And we are a financial well-being resource. You can go to moneymimosas.com to learn more. We have readers in over 50 countries now, which is super exciting. And I've been named a personal finance expert by both the Wall Street Journal and Fast Company. That is me. And today we're going to be talking about your prosperity path. Before we dive into all that material, I do want to give a shout out to Chani Nicholas. Chani Nicholas is an astrologer from Canada. She now lives in Los Angeles, I believe. And she wrote the book, You Were Born for This, Astrology for Radical Self-Acceptance. And to be in integrity with money always, it's necessary to pay respect and give credit where credit is due. And Annie's work in astrology completely opens me up to a whole other perspective when it comes to understanding someone's prosperity path. Her book is incredible. And I highly recommend, if you're someone that's into astrology, you're committed to your path of self-acceptance and self-love, definitely buy the book and check it out. And I'll be referencing some of her material through this webinar today, so that you can get a better understanding of what it means to be in alignment with your soul's purpose so that you can make money doing what you were born to do. One of my favorite quotes from the book, she starts off by saying, whatever pattern constellated in the heavens at the moment you took your first breath, it's the cosmic imprint of your soul, the map of the journey you will take in this lifetime. Let's take that in for a moment. The moment you took your first breath, there was a snapshot in the sky of where Mars was located, where the sun was located, where the moon was located, what sign you were born under. And that imprinted your soul. The cosmos imprinted a path for you. And in Chani Nicholas's book, she looks at your life, generally speaking. In my work, I focus on your prosperity, so earthly riches, money. And so we're going to be looking at where certain stars and planets were situated when you took your first breath, to get a better understanding of how you can make money in alignment with your soul's purpose, and also what are some of the potential blocks you may face, and some of the opportunities you have that will likely present itself during your lifetime for you to deepen your sense of self-love, self-acceptance, and like I say, always, financial freedom is a journey of self-love. So the more you practice self-love, the richer you will be. And so what are the elements that make up your money horoscope, as I call it? Well, we have your signs, and that's the thing that most of us are familiar with. That's when it comes to astrology, most of us know our sun sign. You can be an Aries, a Taurus. Those of you that are present today are likely Geminis, and we'll be going into what the Gemini sign means when it comes to money and how you can tap into that to create abundance within your life. The other element are planets. So the planets, and I'm from the generation when Pluto was still a planet, and when it comes to astrology, we still look at Pluto as a planet. So all of the planets were in a specific formation when you were born, and we can see that on your birth chart. And when we look at where they were placed, it gives us an indication of what motivates you, again, what some of your potential growth opportunities may be, also known as your money blocks, and what we can do to get you in alignment with what your soul is here to do on this planet. Quickly as well, I've did not mention this, but I want to be clear with the signs. Even though you have Gemini as your sun sign, all of the signs are present on your birth chart. So you may be a Gemini sun sign, but you also have Aries, you also have Taurus, you also have Capricorn, and they all play a role in better understanding who you are as an individual. And then today, of course, in my work, we focus on money. So better understanding your path to prosperity and peace and prosperity. And then the last element are houses. Houses are, and we'll see this clearly when we look at an example of a birth chart, but there are 12 houses related to on everyone's birth chart, and each house has a specific function. So depending upon where your Gemini sun sign is placed, where Mars, for instance, is placed, where the moon, your moon sign is placed, the house that it's in will help us better understand what is your path to inner peace and prosperity. And I'll go through a few of these here. You can take a screenshot of this. Definitely, again, Ani's book also walks through this as well. But some of the houses, for instance, the first house is about self, appearances, beginnings, the body, first impressions, attitude, identity, approach to life. The second house is related mostly to money, work, income, daily routines, your values, material possessions. If we skip over to house number 6, that's related to your health, your fitness, your work habits. If we skip over to house number 9, that's related to travel, wisdom, philosophy, higher education. So if you have specific planets in these houses, sometimes your desires will mirror what those houses are. So for instance, if we have a lot of activity in house 9, your love for travel and wisdom and philosophy, you may have a love for that, and now you'll realize, oh, I was actually born this way as well. There's an element of both nurture and nature when it comes to becoming our fullest, highest selves, and the way that the stars were in alignment when you were first born does paint the picture for what you love, what you enjoy doing, and how you can make money doing all of those things. So those are the houses. And today we're going to go over your prosperity path. So there are 7 elements that I invite you to look at when it comes to your prosperity path. If you haven't already pulled your birth chart, if you don't know what your birth chart is, I'll walk you through what that looks like, and I'll send out a link after this so that you can be able to pull your own and see where all of these placements are on your birth chart. So the 7 elements that we'll look at specifically, and there are a ton of elements when it comes to understanding a person. I mean, there is an infinite amount of ways that all of these elements play in conjunction with each other, which is why each of us are individuals and unique in our own right. And the 7, though, that we'll focus on, 7 is a prosperous number. The 7 elements that we'll focus on are your sun sign. So today is Gemini. The sun house, so where that sign is located on your birth chart. Your moon sign. So just like you have a sun sign Gemini, your moon sign could be Gemini as well. It could be Aries, it could be Capricorn. We're also going to look at your moon house, where it's placed on the chart. And then we'll also look at your ascendant sign. This is something, when you pull your birth chart, you'll need the actual time that you were born in order to be able to get that information. So your ascendant is what you're becoming, what you're ascending into. So you may be a Gemini because of your birth date, but you may be ascending into another sign. And then, so that's one element of the prosperity path, element number 5. Then element number 6 is where that ascendant sign is placed on the birth chart. So it's house. And then lastly, we'll look at your Mars house. This is the planet Mars and where it's placed on your birth chart. And I'll go through why that is a good indicator of how to make money in alignment with your soul's purpose. So those are the 7 elements. We're going to spend most of our time today talking about the sun sign because otherwise it would be a really, really long presentation. I want to give you information about Gemini specifically. So before we dive in, 2 things to keep in mind. Number 1, everyone is destined to be rich. Everyone is destined to live a life of peace and prosperity. No one's birth chart indicates that they are destined to struggle. That is not my belief. And anyone who says that, I would run in the other direction because that is simply not true. So that's the first thing to keep in mind. You were destined to be rich. You were destined to live a life of peace and prosperity. Everyone's path is different. So someone's path to being rich, to experiencing inner peace and prosperity, your sister, your mother, your brother, your cousin, their path will be different than yours, but that doesn't mean yours is better or worse than theirs. So that's item number 1 to keep in mind. And then item number 2 to keep in mind is to not give your power to your chart. Give up your power to your chart, or anything for that matter. And what I mean by that is take this information that you learned today, and if you continue to go deeper into astrology, take the information and keep what resonates with you, and if it doesn't resonate with you, reflect on it and then discard it if it doesn't fit if it doesn't match your intuition. Above all else, connection with your intuition it's above all else. So don't give up your power to the chart or any other body of work or philosophy, belief system. This information is meant to help strengthen your connection with your intuition and to help inform your intuition. You are your own guru. You are the one that knows yourself best, and the information that I share, or any information you come across related to anything, but particularly astrology, use it as long as it's a match with your intuition. So those are the 2 things to keep in mind. All right, so let's look at a birth chart. So if it's your first time looking at one, it probably looks like a foreign language that you've never seen before. That's certainly how I felt when I looked at it. And astrology, it's interesting. People may call this woo-woo work. They may call it not grounded in reality, but it is highly mathematical and highly precise. Again, when I mentioned knowing your ascendant, you have to know the exact time you were born in order to get a clear indicator of what your ascendant sign is. I played around. I found out, I've done my birth chart reading, and I remember when I pulled it the first time, I just guessed at what time I was born. I didn't look at my birth certificate. And I just put in a time, and then I changed it according to my actual birth certificate because you need the exact time. And it was different. It was only 52 minutes difference, but it completely shifted my chart. And so knowing the exact time you were born is necessary. And right now we're looking at someone who was born on June 20th. So if we look to the left-hand side, we see the date, we see the time they were born, we see the location of where they were born, which does play a role in your birth chart as well. And then if we look below that in red, where it starts off with saying natal chart, we see that this person's sun sign is Gemini, just like you. Their ascendant is Sagittarius. So they are on a path that may be different than yours will be different than yours, but their ascendant, although they may identify as a Gemini, they're ascending into being a Sagittarius. And then below that, what you'll see are all of the planets and where they are located, plus a couple of other elements that we won't get into. But all of the planets are listed there, and then you can look over to the chart to find them. So we've got the sun. That first element is the sun, and if you look over to find that same symbol, you'll see it's in house number 7. Hopefully you can see that. You see where the sun is in house number 7. This person's moon sign happens to also be in the same house as well. And it's also in Gemini, which is interesting. So this person's sun and moon is in Gemini, and their sun and moon is in house number 7. And then if we look at Mars, which is the other element that we'll be looking at as well, we'll see that this person's Mars location is in house number 8. And then their ascendant sign is Sagittarius. So all of those elements plays a role in this person's prosperity path. And knowing this information is all designed to help you live in alignment with your soul's purpose, because that is the foundation to inner peace and accessing your prosperity. There are people, and I'm sure you know them, that on paper they're doing financially well, but they still feel anxious. They feel a sense of financial anxiety. And it's likely because they're not living in alignment with their soul's purpose. There's also other elements that plays along with that. However, at the root, being in alignment with your soul, with the purpose that you're here on the planet to do, makes everything that much easier, and it makes you a magnet for abundance and peace. And like I mentioned, everyone has a unique prosperity path, and astrology is the nature element of your prosperity path. So you're familiar with the terms nature and nurture. Both cultivate and create the person. So what you were born, the cosmic imprint on your soul is your astrology. That's nature. And then things like your money love language is developed through nurture. If you haven't seen my presentation on money love language, it's up on YouTube. You can watch the hour presentation. It's free. And it's accessible to everyone. So your cosmic imprint is the nature element of your prosperity path, and then things happen within our life that nurture us along the way. And again, to be clear, let's not give up our power to the chart. Always tune into your inner guidance and your intuition. I have to say that a couple times because this information can be misused if you aren't strong in your conviction and your intuition. So what are some of the nurture ways that can block you from your intuition? We've got systemic injustice. So economic injustice specifically reduces sense of worthiness, and that will make you question your intuition and your inner guidance system. There's also white guilt, and this is the price you pay for perpetuating economic injustice. That is a block to your intuition. If you haven't read my article on how white guilt blocks you from your intuition and being able to make money in alignment with your soul's purpose, go check that out. It's on moneymimosas.com. Just type in white guilt, moneymimosas.com, and it'll pop up. And so those are the things that'll block you from your intuition. Again, this information is to help strengthen your connection to your intuition and help you create a life that's in alignment. All right, so let's dive now into your money horoscope. What do all of these signs mean? So when it comes to your sun sign, this is your innate currency. This is the medicine that you offer to the world. And as I'm skipping ahead. So your sun sign helps inform what it is that you're here, what it is you bring to the table that no one else can do just like you. Your moon sign, your moon sign says a lot. We're going to focus on the growth opportunities that your moon sign has for you. Your moon sign shares your emotional needs. And then when it comes to money, it also indicates where you may face blocks if you don't address certain fears that come up, particularly that are related to your sun sign. And we'll go through that when it comes to Gemini here in a second. And then your ascendant sign, what does that tell you? That is your natural sales style. So just like everyone has a unique prosperity path, everyone has a unique way of selling their services, selling their products, selling their personal brand. And your ascendant sign is a great indicator for what that is for you. And then your Mars house. This, where your Mars is placed, that is what drives you to financially succeed. And this, knowing this information usually deals with doing work around your shadow self, because oftentimes where your Mars is placed on your birth chart, for some people, not everyone, for some people, they have a hard time owning that that's what they really want in life. For instance, if your Mars is placed in the first house, which is about beauty and self and appearance, you may be driven by being beautiful. You may be driven by pampering yourself, and that may go against what you feel is socially acceptable. Socially acceptable things to be driven by are things like community and being a quote unquote good person. And to say that you're driven by beauty can sound vain. And so, but until you own that, and until you allow that to come through in the way you spend money, for instance, you'll never feel truly at peace. So Mars is a great indicator of what actually drives you, what motivates you to succeed. All right, Geminis, now let's dive into what your innate currency is. So as a Gemini, you have the innate ability to disperse information and disseminate knowledge. You are someone that people go to and they can ask you any question and you've got something to share. Even if you aren't a full-on expert in that space, you've got little tidbits of knowledge and you enjoy collecting this information and also sharing it. It could be things like useless facts, for instance, but they're actually not insignificant, your ability to do that, because not a lot of people, again, if they aren't a Gemini, that's not necessarily their innate currency. And that's your medicine that you offer, being able to disperse the seemingly insignificant information to lots of different people. And this really plays into your love for knowing about all different kinds of topics. You've got varied passions, whether it could be art, archaeology, photography. Maybe you also like learning about technology, and maybe you also like gaming. All of those things seemingly are disconnected and may make you feel like you're scatterbrained, and perhaps you fear that people see you as scatterbrained, but that's actually your natural makeup. That's what you were born to do. That's your innate currency, is gathering this information and dispersing and disseminating it to everyone that you speak to, anyone that comes in contact with you. You just have this natural gift of sharing information. And that's how you naturally attract riches. So you are in flow state. Flow state is when you're just in flow, like in a yoga class, when you feel truly grounded in your body. Athletes feel this when they realize that they're no longer thinking about the movements. They're just allowing their body to take over. So your flow state when it comes to money, where you're not thinking strategically too hard about making money, your flow state is when you naturally attract riches. And your flow state as a Gemini is when you can connect seemingly disconnected dots. So this can play out in a lot of different ways. Perhaps you are a consultant and your clients are in one industry, one specific industry, and because of your love for all different types of topics, you're able to bring varied information to the table to your clients to help them improve their businesses. It could also be when, we're talking about money, but it could also be when you're with friends and you're just someone that helps them connect dots in their life that they didn't even see. They didn't even see the connection there. They didn't even know that there was a possibility of being connection. That is your flow state. And the more you can practice that, the more you can give yourself permission to truly own that, you will naturally attract riches. Related to that, activating the law of attraction. So your sun sign helps you better understand how you can activate the law of attraction within your life. There is an article about the law of attraction on moneymimosas.com where I go through the steps of activating the law of attraction. And one of those steps is knowing yourself, because the thing that activates your law of attraction will be different from mine, will be different from your best friend, your mother. And for you as a Gemini, one of the ways of activating the law of attraction in your life is by creating new relationships and projects. This is all tied to your love for knowing lots of different information, having varied interests, being multi-passionate, multi-hyphenate. And the more you play with that, the more you allow yourself to play, have fun there, create new projects, create new relationships, the more magnetic you'll be to money, the more magnetic you'll become. Really quick, in case you're not familiar with the law of attraction, the law of attraction was made popular by the book The Secret. And that book and also movie highlights one of the universal laws when it comes to money. There's actually 12 laws. The law of attraction is one of them. And the law of attraction states that you call in whatever you truly desire. You're a magnet for whatever you want. And so when it comes to money, you activate your ability to be a money magnet by creating new relationships and projects. What are some ways this can be dulled? So this is one of the growth opportunities on your path as a Gemini, one of the potential money blocks. If you don't become conscious of it and work with it, it can become a block to your prosperity. And the block is shown by, it dulls your ability to be able to be a money magnet or to attract riches. And one of the ways that this can show up for you as a Gemini is a lack of self-trust in your varied interests. And this is really due to the fear of being seen as flaky, being seen as someone that just bounces from idea to idea. This can cause you to feel bad about that, to feel, a lot of the narrative, particularly in the personal finance world, is to niche down, is to focus, is to have a clear goal and put blinders on and go straight for that goal. And as a Gemini, that doesn't necessarily always work for you. There may be times in your life where it calls for that, for you to be focused, but you'll feel that. Your intuition will guide you to that. Your natural state, though, is to have a lot of things going on, a lot of balls in the air. And you'll have to, throughout your lifetime, you'll come across situations that will ask you to deepen your trust around those natural abilities. You'll feel like that's not the thing to do. In those growth opportunities, you'll be presented with challenges that make you question your intuition and question your natural state, which leads to lack of self-trust. And so that's the work for you to do, is to deepen your sense of self-trust and your varied interests. Don't feel as if you're flaky, because you're not. You're someone, that's your job. Your job is to let all of us know all of the things in the world and to disseminate it. And so the more you can believe in that, the more you can trust yourself, the higher the brighter your aura will be when it comes to money. So what are some steps you can take now that you know more about your sun sign Gemini, how that relates to your prosperity path? Here are some steps you can take. Number one, reflect on what resonated with you. As I mentioned a couple of times, do not give your power over to the chart. Do not give your power over to how I interpret the Gemini sun sign. When it comes to prosperity path, reflect on what resonated with you. If nothing resonated with you, great, move on, discard it. If something did resonate with you, reflect on it and think about the times where what was just shared with you showed up in your life. Step number 2, I highly recommend checking out this book. It will give you so much of a deeper understanding of your own astrology. I just talked about the sun sign in this webinar. As I mentioned, when it comes to your prosperity path, there are 7 elements. And I will produce a free guide around that so you can dive into the other elements. In the meantime, this book by Chani Nicholas is available. You were born for this. So check that out. Check out her interviews on YouTube as well. And then step number 3, make money with you in mind. So now that you know, if it did resonate with you, this idea that you have a lot of different interests, that you love to disseminate knowledge in lots of different ways, you connect seemingly disconnected dots, think of ways that you can make money doing things like that. They may seem abstract, they may seem whimsical, they may seem far out there, but that is you. That was your cosmic imprint. And the more you can tap into that, the more you can connect with that, the more of a money magnet you will be. So that is the presentation for Geminis. If you want more money tips, you can always visit moneymimosas.com. We've got insights such as this on the mystical side, and then we also have some tactical tips as well when it comes to money. And if you'd like to dig even deeper, the Money Makers has reopened. This is our paid money membership program designed to help you elevate your self-worth and net worth. It's only $20 a month, and in that you get all the information. You get all the information you need to create a solid financial foundation to create inner peace and prosperity. You can check that out over at moneymimosas.com. And thank you so much for your presence today, your attention. I know we were all shy at the beginning, but maybe you have some questions that you'd love for me to answer. I was hoping to have someone's actual birth chart to show you who would be on the call, but the woman who won the prize, she's actually a Leo sun sign. She's got Gemini as her moon and then Gemini as an ascendant, and she thought that that would work for today's presentation. Unfortunately, it won't. So she will be presented during Leo, but today we didn't have an actual person to show you. That sample chart was someone that I pulled that wasn't here on the call. But if you have any questions or if you know your birth chart, I'm happy to answer specific questions related to you. Let's see, let's stop share. All right, looks like we've got one question. Oh, doesn't look like we do. Yay, well, let me know if you have any questions or anything you want me to dive more into. Let's see. I see some questions pop through, but they're not showing up on my screen. Okay. Stacey said this was super fun and helpful, especially the piece about not fearing being flaky and owning that as a gift. Yes, absolutely. Carrie asks, what about Aries moon in the 10th house? Ooh, great question. Carrie, give me 1 second. I'm gonna pull my notes because I don't have all of those memorized. I should have had this right next to me. So give me 30 seconds, everyone, and I'll grab my notes so I can read you your Aries moon in the 10th house. I'd love to hear if it actually resonates with you, Carrie. Hold on. Okay, I think that was less than 30 seconds. All right, Carrie, so I'm going to pull your Aries moon. And yes, anyone asking about pulling your birth chart, yes, I will send a link. There was a link, if you go back actually to the Eventbrite where you registered, that link is there where you can pull your birth chart, but I'll also email it. If for some reason you can't find the Eventbrite link, I'll email it to you so you have it. All right, so Carrie, let's look at your moon. Okay. All right. And then you're in the 10th house. Oh, interesting. Okay. This is cool. Okay. So Carrie, let's start with what could be a potential block for you or something to be conscious of, because it could present an issue for you in attracting prosperity and peace. So for you, because your moon's in the 10th house, one of the things that that you may do often is put other people first. And with the 10th house, the call when it comes to money is to honor your financial health first. And let me know if this resonates with you, that perhaps you're someone that will give to others before really tending to your financial needs first. And so moving forward, that's just something to continue to be conscious of, is how you can practice more self-love and more boundaries when it comes to money. For instance, it could be prioritizing your savings first. If you're an independent contractor or a freelancer, someone who has their own business, your boundaries could be related to setting up an actual invoicing structure. So making sure your clients are invoiced on the same day, ensuring that you're paid a percentage up front. It's possible that those types of boundaries are not in place within your financial life. And those will present, not only does it present immediate issues in terms of, when it comes to invoicing, getting paid on time, but it also energetically blocks you from receiving more, because the universe, as I understand it, the more that you honor yourself, the more the universe trusts you with more riches. So something to think about when it comes to that. Let me know if that resonates. Okay. Yes, that's true personally, and I've had to work on that. All right. Yes, continue to love on yourself in those specific ways when it comes to money. I know self-love can be this abstract concept, but specifically, I'm talking about like invoicing boundaries and contractual boundaries, like getting paid a percentage up front, things like that. Look more into that. So those are the potential challenges and growth opportunities for you. With your moon in Aries specifically, you are a go-getter. So the Aries sign is very independent. It's a fire sign. So you're incredibly adventurous, at least according to your cosmic imprint. Let me know if that resonates. And so the more you can practice what you need emotionally, financially, emotionally, the emotional side of your finances, what you need to feel is as if you're in control of your financial destiny. All of us have that to an extent, but for you especially, with your moon in Aries, you need to create either all of your income streams needs to have you as the one, being the center of it, meaning like you're a full-time freelancer and all the income streams, you're in control of. If you're someone that works in traditional roles, like you have a corporate job, the more you can spearhead projects, the more you'll feel at peace with your finances. Of course, that will also mean making more money, but really I'm talking about, the moon is about your emotional needs. This is where we find our peace when it comes to money. And so the more you can feel as if you're in control, you're the one spearheading the project, you're the one that maybe independently suggests this project. You're an entrepreneur. Yeah, great, perfect. Continue being an entrepreneur, because that's and even if you have, even as entrepreneurs, even if you have a client where you act more as an employee, but you're an independent contractor, those are fine too. But continue to spearhead projects, and that's really exciting. Ooh, Carrie, I'm getting really excited because with your Gemini, you have this ability to disconnect seemingly disconnected dots. You have the ability to disperse information, combining that with your independence and your ability to spearhead projects. That's beautiful. That's so exciting. Yay! Yay! This is so fun. Cool. Let's see. Colette says, thank you. This was so fabulous. I don't know a lot about signs, and I'm very curious about the connection with money and finances. Will we have access to this recording? Yes, great question, Colette. Yes, I'm going to upload this to YouTube, and then I'll send the link to all of you. And in that email as well, I'll include the link to the birth chart so that you can type in your own information and pull your chart as well. Yay. Tirsa. Hey, Tirsa. So great to see you. Or I can't see you. You know what I mean. Happy Juneteenth. I am not a Gemini, but I know quite a few. Most are good at making money, but most are big thinkers and spenders. They have great ability for storytelling and performing. Many are control freaks. They like to direct things and they like to work alone. Yeah, that's interesting. Well, Geminis, because of all the information they have access to, yeah, they're great at storytelling. I mean, the shadow side of the Gemini, which many of us may be familiar with, is the trickster personality. And so that's related to what you just typed about performing. There can be, when not conscious, there can be the shadow side of that can be putting on a performance, basically tricking people because they're able to do that. And that's something to be conscious of, though. I mean, all of us have, either we choose love or we choose fear, right? And so all of us have the ability to go fear-based, and all of us have the ability to go love-based. So yes, Tirsa, that doesn't surprise me that you may have experienced that with them or seen that in them. But to your point, though, about being big thinkers and spenders, yeah, the challenge with that, of course, with big spending is that you've got to make big money to support that. So yeah, thankfully they're able to do that. And just to be clear, all of us have the ability to be really good at making money. We're all destined for that. I believe that to my core. It just is expressed differently. But yeah, that's really interesting, Tirsa, the control freak element. Fascinating. Okay, so Jewel, thank you for sharing, Tirsa. Jewel says, my Mars is in Gemini and also in the 6th house. Ooh, what does that mean? Okay, so for everyone still on the call, your Mars placement is what motivates you to make money. So this is related to your money aura. If you remember that video, that is also up on the Money Mimosas YouTube channel. Everyone can watch it. And that your money aura is about your energetic fields. We all have an energetic field, just like you have a circulatory system, a respiratory system, you have an energetic system. And when it comes to money, you have an aura, which you want your aura to be radiant. It can be dulled by a number of factors. And so your Mars placement has to do with your aura, because your aura is about what your desires are and what truly motivates you. So let's look up Mars in the 6th house. So I'm going to focus on the house, Jewel, for this, because that's the clearest indication of what drives you. Oh, interesting. So health, and particularly health and wellness, is a driver for you, meaning that, and Jewel, let me know what you do for work. I often see this in health coaches. I'm not sure if you're a health coach, but health coaches tend tend to have their Mars in the 6th house. And so they create a career around health and wellness, which is okay, but that's not necessarily the clearest expression of, okay, you own a wellness business specializing in yoga, meditation, therapeutic art. Interesting. Okay, so stay with me on this thread. Let me know what resonates and what doesn't. So your Mars placement in the 6th house means that you've got a love for wellness, you've got a love for health, and that is your motivation. That's not necessarily, your motivation is how you want to spend money. It's not necessarily how you want to make money. Now, I'm not saying to get rid of your wellness business. Please don't take that to be the case. All I'm saying is that the focus of your spending on yourself may need to shift more towards wellness. When I was sharing that example of the health coaches, a lot of times they place all their emphasis on giving other people information about wellness and health, when in actuality, that Mars placement is saying, hey, no, actually spend more money on your own health and wellness, hiring your own health coach, investing in your own yoga memberships. It could mean, I'm thinking even for myself, investing in massage work for yourself, as opposed to always being the one to give that to others. So that's something to consider for yourself, Jewel, is finding a balance between all of the information around wellness that you share with others and finding a way to turn that back onto you. Let me know how that sits with you. Let's see, and then, okay, Jewel says, I can't do the work I do if I don't pour into myself first. Yes, exactly. And so those are going to be the opportunities for financial growth for you. The more you can not feel guilty about pouring into yourself first, the more you'll be a magnet for abundance. So yay, that's exciting. Self-love and self-nurturing is really exciting, especially since your Mars is in the wellness house. And then Cree Police, could you let me know your first name? Just because I want to say your name. You're asking about the ascendant house as Cancer. Oh, so your ascendant house is, for everyone on the call, is going to be your sales style, the way you naturally sell your services, sell your products, sell your personal brand. And so let's look up Cancer. You're a Cancer rising, Cancer ascendant. Okay, so probably Kripa. So Kripa, so for you, Cancer rising. So the Cancer sign is intuitive, very emotionally in tune to others' needs. And your ascendant, when it comes to money, as a Cancer rising, your sales style is likely going to be along the lines of how how others feel when they're around you. Meaning, the more your sales approach is grounded in care and in love. Now, this is for all of us, but especially for you, you're going to feel really good doing it this way. And your ability to emotionally connect with someone is even more heightened than anyone else because of your ascendant in Cancer. So the more that you can practice a sales style that isn't overly pushy, isn't very structured. That's often the languaging around sales process, that you've got to have a particular system, you've got to make the offer and then expect to negotiate and go back and forth and basically box someone in. The more you can give yourself freedom to be caring and loving and nurturing, the strength of your ability to emotionally connect to the other person, they're going to feel that much stronger than someone else that doesn't have a Cancer ascendant sign. So your natural sales approach is conversational based. There are going to be times, I'm laughing because I can so see it. There are going to be times when you are, and let me know what kind of work you do. There are going to be times when you're just sharing your work and like sharing it kind of off the cuff, but really just focus on the other person and what they need. And they're going to be like, oh my gosh, I'd love to work with you. How do I get started? And you're going to be completely thrown off because you were just focused on caring for them and connecting with them emotionally. So that's your sales style, is caring, loving. And the more you allow yourself to be free in that, you won't have to have such a structured approach to sales. Let me know how that resonates with you. Ah, interesting. You're an accountant. I used to work in corporate, but now I work for small business as a contractor. Yes, so this is great. Hello, fellow accountants. Yeah, I laugh because I had some unlearning to do around this myself, and I feel perhaps this resonates with you. Perhaps this was your experience. As accountants, we don't necessarily either we don't necessarily have a strict sales process, or we follow this particular system really, really closely. But yes, as an accountant, allow yourself to continue to care, because accountants I don't do accounting anymore, but for most accountants, sometimes the idea is that we've got to really hone in on the numbers and really feel like we have to convince people that they need accounting work, and tap into your Cancer, because your clients and potential clients will feel that strongly. And I feel you. You say I definitely care more about the small businesses and the owners. Tap into that and allow your sales approach to be very fluid. That's something that Cancer is very much related to, is fluidity. Try that out and let me know how that works for you. It's really exciting. Hey, Jewel. Jewel asked, what book are you referencing to learn how these signs and positions relate to business? So that book I mentioned, the You Were Born to Do This, that book is my number one reference. When it comes to money, though, there is no book around that. So when you get the book, definitely get the book. You're going to learn more about yourself. The money interpretation, that's my intuition. And so so that book I mentioned is by Chani Nicholas. I always say Chani just because of the way it's spelled, but Chani Nicholas. But then also check out Bahati Life. If you all want to dive more into astrology, she's also my go-to for understanding the signs. And then when it comes to money, though, there won't be any reference out until I write my book, because that's what I've been born to do, is to understand I'm a mystic when it comes to money. So get those books, follow those people, because they will help you better understand the entirety of your life as it relates to your astrology chart. And Kripa, yes, you're welcome. All right. Well, this has been so much fun. Yes. Monica says, thank you. I really enjoyed this. I just pulled my birth chart and learned I'm a Cancer sun, not Gemini. So I'll be tuning into your Cancer in Money talk next week. Awesome. Well, great. Isn't that interesting once we actually pull our charts? So yes, have a great rest of your Friday, a great weekend, and look out for an email from me with the link to this recording. Thank you all. Have a good weekend. Bye.